going to work our first sweep from butterfly guard using the overhook and underhook. We're going to work these setups that we were working when we were trying to off balance our partner. Basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our partner to open up, so his elbows to leave his body, and then try get them to post weight onto their hands. When we're sweeping from butterfly guard, it's important that we learn the sweeps individual, and then it's really important that we take the approach that the Russians take to, or even the Americans take to wrestling, so chain wrestling. We want to think chain sweeping. So we learn our techniques separate. We'll have, like, say 3 or 4 sweeps, say for example, in our toolbox, and then we should be able to go for sweep number 1, 2 and 3. Maybe if we have number 4, we can do that. If that doesn't work, we can keep recycling until we can get a sweep going. We can also pair that with different types of submissions. So we'll have a look at it and see what way we can set it up. So again, I'm controlling my partner, trying to open him up, get some grips going. Maybe he's being really defensive. He knows that I want to try elevate him, or I want to get chest to chest. So I'm just going to do a collar tie push to open him up. Once he puts weight onto his left hand, I'll take a shallow underhook. So I'm going wrist deep and I'm cupping his shoulder here. I then take an overhook and I put my chin over his back. If Darren tries to pull away, it should be very hard. If he's a lot, say, maybe heavier or stronger than me, he does try to pull away, I can use this to wrestle up from here. So one more time. So we're in this position. I can't get my grips. Any good opponent isn't just going to give you an underhook or an overhook. So you're going to have to work for it, and you're going to have to get them to, like, maybe defend, and then you can go into your different grips. So I get a collar tie, or I can kick and push, whichever works for you. So I take the underhook. The collar tie was my first attachment, so I'm connected. I take my shallow underhook, and then I take an overhook here. I scoop my hips inside, and if you can see, if we just spin around, we're going to do our under-over sweep from here. I'm going to take like a false grip, so wrist connects to the tricep, and I tuck my elbow in on my partner's elbow, and I bring his elbow into my hip. I scoop my hips underneath so I can get under his center of gravity. I roll to my left side, I put my left foot to the floor, and I start elevating to come up on top. Take them out. So again, so we'll do it from the opposite side. So I collar tie, push, I take an underhook, an overhook. If Darren tries to run away, it should be very hard. My chin is over his shoulder. If Darren is just, like, say, really strong and he's able to pull away from me, I'll use a grappler's get up to help me start wrestling up from this position. If I find that I have good connection, I'm going to just take like a shallow overhook, and I connect my elbow to my training partner's elbow here. I bring his elbow inside my hip. If I want, I can either keep the overhook, or I can just kind of grab the tricep. So it's really up to you. I scoop my hips in under my training partner's hips. I'm on my right side. I'm going to roll and elevate over to my left side, where I use my underhook on my butterfly hook to sweep and come up on top. So now that we have our first setup to get our connection against a defensive opponent, we're going to start chaining our sweeps together. So we're going to use sweep number 1, which was our underhook and overhook sweep, to maybe get our training partner to post again, and then we can start upgrading our grip. So anytime we can't sweep our opponent, we're going to look to, like, get them to put weight onto their hands, and then just change it to maybe sweep number 2 or sweep number 3. So I'll show you how that looks. So again, we'll use the same setup as the last time. Feet on my training partner's knees, or feet on my training partner's hip, depending on if we're in long or mid-range butterfly guard. If Darren leans forward, I take a collar tie and I push to put weight onto his left hand, so that takes his elbow away from his body and also allows me to get my first grip. I can also pair this with a kick and a push here. So I managed to get a shallow underhook. So I don't have to focus too much on getting a deep underhook. I just want my first attachment, especially in no-gi when it's slippy and someone might be defensive. So I then take my overhook and I put my chin over my training partner's back here. If Darren tries to pull away, I can use this to wrestle up, or I can use this to close the distance and then go into our first sweep, which we were working. So our first sweep was, we were able to get our hips inside, we tucked our training partner's right elbow in towards my left hip, we elevate, and then we came up on top. But let's say Darren is like, he's bringing his hips really far away from me. He knows I'm trying to elevate maybe for leg locks or just trying to sweep him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go square. So my hips are now square, my training partner's hips. I still have the shallow underhook. I'm going to pull Darren forward. I'm going to put weight onto his hands. And when I do that, I'm going to upgrade to a deep underhook. So my right hand goes elbow and bicep deep here. So I have a deep underhook. I still have an overhook on this side. So what I'm going to do is take my shoulders off the floor, bring my knees to my chest. I have active hooks, so I'm flexing my feet up towards my shins. I extend my legs and then I pummel my second underhook inside. I'm going shoulder deep here. So my shoulders on my training partner's armpits and I have an S grip. So I want to bring my training partner from a Y to an I position. So what I mean now is if I just sit back here and I don't pull my hands up towards Darren's head, Darren just can post his hands out wide. So he's making like a Y position. I want to bring him into a I position where his posts don't work as well. So let's maybe change up the angle a small bit. So we're here. So I have my S grip. Darren's able to base if I sit back. So on the way down, I pull my knuckles up towards his head. I then take a gable grip or a butterfly grip. And I'm trying to pinch my two elbows together. If Darren tries to bring his arms out, it should be very hard. So we took him from a Y position with his arms to an I position. I then extend my legs and then I pick a side. So I'm going to roll to my left side. I'm going to press my left foot to the floor, elevate with my right leg, and I'm going to elevate my right elbow to come up on top into the mount. So this is a great mount because now we have the two arms isolated where we can start going into head and arm attacks, the back attacks, or we can start switching off to arm bars, triangles and that type of stuff. So again, here Darren, I push, he puts weight onto his left hand, I take a shallow underhook and I take an overhook. If I find that sweep number one isn't working because he's being really defensive, he tries to pull his hips away, I'm just going to like go square. So my hips are going square with my training partner's hips. On the way down, I pummel for deep underhook here. So I dig in nice and deep. So you can see that I was wrist deep last time. Now I'm going to go bicep and shoulder deep. My shoulders are then up off the floor. Knees are up to my chest, so point up towards my chest. I have active feet and I extend. And I pummel my second hand on the inside. I take an S grip and then I'm going to fall back. And on the way down, I'm going to bring Darren's arms from a Y position to an I position. I then go from an S grip to a gable grip or a butterfly grip here. I'm pinching my elbows in nice and tight. I extend my legs and then I pick a side to sweep. So I'm going to roll to my left side. I'm going to look with my head, shoulders, chest and elbows are going to follow. Knees and then elevate with my right leg. Come up on top into the mount where we've both arms isolated. So we'll do that one more time just a little bit faster. So it'll look like this.